So, start off with, I understand you've been dating only black men for the past 6 to 8 months. What can you describe your experience dating just black men?
Well, it had been since I was 18 years old since I had dated a black man, so it's several decades. Well, I found out a lot about myself over the last 6 to 8 months since I've been dating strictly black men. It had been since I was about 17 the last time I dated a black man, so I've been exclusively with white men for several decades. And I remember now why I stopped dating black men. I found that my experience with the ones that I've dated, I should say that the first couple that I dated were very successful, very worldly, and very intellectual, and for me that was a big draw because that's where the attraction for me comes in. What I found about those types of men was that they are so overly concerned with their career, and they tend to spend a lot more time and attention on their career rather than the person that they're with. So being the woman that I am, I was demanding a little bit more time, and they were not able to provide that. So I moved on to a different type of black man. From there I went to the black man that was a little bit more, how shall we say, urban. Just to see what that experience was like, a little gangsta, if you will. And I found that experience to be a lot different in that they were a lot more attentive, but they were also a lot more clingy.
Going back to size, do you feel like size matters in doing porn or being, a man in the porn industry? Do you feel like being bigger benefits you more than being average?
Definitely. I think if I was just average, I think I would still be, get a lot of viewers to watch, but I think it adds to it. The perception and the stereotypes of black men is that they're well endowed, and so people, in their mind, black dude, he's got to be hung, pulls down his pants, they want to see like a horse cock, and the chick that you're working with, she's thinking in her mind. But it's kind of funny sometimes that perception, that stereotype isn't always true. I've seen situations where it was an interracial scene, and it was a black dude, and the guy, pulled down his pants and he was soft, or he wasn't that hung. And the girl was like, oh my God, it's so big and black. But it was just an average sized cock. So in her mindset, it was just like, it's big, it's black, but...
When I'm usually hanging with my friends, and I have friends of all ethnics, black, white, Asian, Latino, Mexican, you name it. Everybody is my friend back at home. So we all say, what's up, my nigga? And stuff like, it's just common because we all know we're not meaning it in a degrading way. But now even when I do porn, yes, they love it when I tell them, like, fuck me with that big nigger dick and stuff like that. And that's fine. It doesn't bother me, it's... Especially when you're in the heat of the moment anyway.
Opposite. I don't like the word. I just think the sound of it is very degrading for me. It's like hearing bitch, hoe, slut. I don't like anybody to call me that. I don't like cunt. Necessarily get offended.
Cunt's my word.
But to me, I think there's certain words that have a stigma to them, and when you say them, it inflicts feelings on people that you can't take away. Once you said it, it's been done.
Right.
And I don't want to be in a situation where I've said something to offend somebody that could have easily been avoided. So for me, it's a word I prefer not to use.
But if the guy's enjoying it,
and it's in film,
and he's getting harder and harder the more you say it.
Then he needs to find somebody else to say it.
That's when you bring me
I'm
in,
not
and I'll do it for you.
For me personally, I don't care how it makes
and
one guy
fine.
feel. I'm thinking about the 50 other people that might see it that found it offensive and derogatory and had a certain feeling from it. So
that's true.
That's my point. That's my take on it. But I grew up in the hood, so I grew up around people that, you didn't say that word. And it was extremely offensive. And for me, that's what I took from it, was that it's just a word you don't use.
We're dancing now.
I know we're dancing. I'll have to say white women, just because the simple fact is that's who I normally get booked with. The ones I'm normally just fucking in general, or white women. I don't know what it is.
You're saying that you're more attracted to white women than black women?
Yeah, I guess so, if you want to put it out there. Because I'm not going to stick my foot in my mouth, okay? I'll tell you right now, I like women, but the ones I predominantly fuck are white women. So don't try to put me in a corner. Fuck that shit.
Let's do the one question. Do you feel like
go
we're
1 minute.
You two have been going out for 9 months now, almost a year. Let me start with you. Is Shane the first black man you've ever dated?
No.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with the brothers.
That actually started when I was really, really young. My mom actually always knew I would end up dating black men. I remember I was doing gymnastics and I was a little girl and there was an older boy who competed and I was taken by him.
I didn't even know this story.
You didn't know this story, no? Yeah, and we lived in a rural area. It was predominantly white, but a lot of workers would actually come in the summer seasonally, and I remember going to the store and walking through and they were there waiting to catch their bus and I'd just be like, wow.
What did you find so fascinating about them?
No, I mean, just beautiful, just a rich, beautiful, sexiness that I can't explain.
Well, I guess it started from a pretty early age. I went to an all-white elementary school, actually. So from the time I was about 6 years old until I entered junior high school, I was in an all-white school in an all-white neighborhood, and I just found white men to be more attractive. Not to mention that the only other black guy at the school was my brother, so couldn't help things. But I became attracted to them, and they to me, and it just kind of stuck.
Do you think that if you had more African Americans at your school, that you would have given white boys a chance?
Well, I did. Once I got to middle school, I did. It was during the integration time, and so I did have some interaction with black men then, and I just didn't find them to be as interesting. I didn't find them to be as attentive, as curious about me as white men were. So perhaps that had something to do with it. I felt more like I was the star when I was with white men as opposed to when I was with black men. I was just, taken for granted.
Pampered?
With white men, yes.
You told me once something about you dating a black man at one time and had a really bad time. Can you explain your relationship with black men?
Sure. I dated a few just to make sure that I wasn't leaving out half of the dating pool. I found that the ones that I dated were either not quite as intelligent as I would like them to have been, not really in a good headspace.
But is that generalizing the whole African American race?
It was. And at the time, I was a teenager. I was just, kind of getting to know myself as well as getting to know others. So for me, I needed somebody that was up to my intellectual level in order to have a physical kind of attraction to them as well. And I found that more with white men than with black men.
Good.